My name is Rener Gracie, and I'm a third-generation Jiu-Jitsu instructor of the legendary Gracie family. Today we're here to talk about self-defense because every man must know how to protect himself and his family. When it comes to self-defense, it's crazy because when I meet people or I interact or I see someone on the street who asks me about jiu-jitsu and I encourage them to take up learning self-defense or jiu-jitsu, it's fascinating because the number one response I get from regular people is, Rener, I'm a lover, not a fighter. In other words, I don't need to pick fights. I'm not looking for fights. I'm not trying to get in fights. And therefore, why should I learn how to fight? And what's crazy is that they have it all backwards. They're completely backwards in how they're thinking about it. My mindset is this: who are the people who are picking fights? Who are the people who are out there puffing their chest? Who are the people bullying other members of society? Those are the people who do not believe in themselves. Those are the people who feel that they have something to prove. So if you aren't confident that you can't defend yourself and you aren't confident that you can hold your own in a real life situation against a larger, more athletic opponent, naturally, you're going to question yourself, and in questioning yourself, you're going to tend to do things more aggressively and more quickly than if you knew with 100% certainty that you could protect yourself and your family. So the irony is, the martial artists, the trained martial artists, are the people who are least likely to ever get into a fight. If you ask me how many street fights I've been in the last 10 years, the answer is 0. Now, how many have I neutralized, how many have I avoided, and how many have I been able to walk away from and calmly assert myself in and prevent because of my jiu-jitsu capabilities? The answer is all of them. My mindset is learn how to fight so you never have to. Because once you're 100% certain of your self-defense capabilities, you can assert yourself, you can remain much more calm, and you know that at the end of the day, should someone attack or something get out of hand, you can easily neutralize the situation without a problem. Now, when it comes to actual self-defense and building the skills necessary to protect yourself should an attack occur, it's amazing how many misconceptions there are about, jiu-jitsu. When someone who has no knowledge of martial arts hears the term jiu-jitsu, they think it's the same as karate or taekwondo or kung fu or any other traditional martial art. And it couldn't be further from the truth. The idea is very simple. Traditional striking-based martial arts, the idea is you stand in front of your opponent, should the fight occur, and you trade punches and you trade kicks for as long as is necessary until one person gets the better end of the bargain and is able to connect with a powerful kick or a powerful punch and is able to incapacitate the other person. Now, the risk in that strategy is that every time you throw a punch or you throw a kick, you're within range to get punch or kick in return. The idea of Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is not to stand in front of someone and trade blows to see who's more athletic or who's stronger. It's to basically manage the distance in the fight. The idea is very simple. You want to be all the way out, too far away to be struck, or you want to be so close that any strikes that are directed at you are not effective and cannot knock you out. So it's all about distance management. You want to be all the way out or all the way in. What's interesting is this principle applies both standing up and in the ground fight. And if someone does not know jiu-jitsu when the fight goes to the ground, naturally they're going to waste exuberant amounts of energy trying to strike at the other person unsuccessfully, and they essentially burn out very rapidly, giving the opportunity for the trained jiu-jitsu practitioner to take advantage of the opportunities that they create, the mistakes that they make, and ultimately win the fight with a joint lock or a chokehold. The way we look at it is this. Normally, the way fights are fought is you have one person, this is us, let's just say, the smaller, weaker individual, who is, gets into a fight with a larger, more athletic opponent. Okay, typical street fight situation. This person is challenging or basically picks a fight with us. Normally, the way street fights are fought is both people go crazy, burning their energy at a rapid rate because neither one of them knows what to do. And the smaller, weaker individual runs out first because they're smaller and weaker, and the bigger person wins the fight. The secret to Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is that we perfect the techniques that force the big guys to burn while we chill. And they burn, and they burn. And it doesn't take long, 30 seconds, a minute and a half. Once the larger opponent is fully exhausted, then we can win the fight with a joint lock or a chokehold, or we can get away from the fight unbruised, unbeaten, safely go home at the end of the day. And if you ask my grandfather, Grandmaster Elio, against those giants, how did you win those fights against those giants that you fought? His response was always the same. He said, I never defeated any of my opponents. My opponents defeated themselves. The way you have to look at it is, if you get into an altercation with someone much heavier, much stronger, much more athletic than you, and nobody wins the fight. Let's say you get into a fight against a powerful individual and nobody wins the fight. You won the fight because you survived and both you went home at the end of the day. And because you were at the disadvantage and you were supposed to lose the fight, and that didn't happen because it was a draw, nobody goes to the hospital, nobody got beat up, and nobody won, you won the fight. In my eyes, in my grandfather's eyes, and in the eyes of anyone who has any kind of sound logic in their approach. So most martial arts, in my opinion, should be called self-offense, because someone aggresses towards you and your way of defeating them is to overcome them and overpower them and essentially overwhelm them with powerful strikes and athleticism and aggressiveness. You're neutralizing their attack, but you're imposing an attack and aggression of your own. So you eventually go from being the attackee to the attacker. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, on the other hand, is 100% pure self-defense. If someone attacks me, I'm only going to use as much force as is necessary to neutralize the attacker. And as soon as the situation is under control, and as soon as there's no more immediate threat to me or someone else, the damage, the control, the imposition of techniques and force against that person stops right away. And some of you will say, well, if I get into a street fight, what's the importance of having that restraint and the technical ability to control and neutralize someone without hurting them? And man, the benefits are limitless. I mean, in a society where everyone wants to sue everyone else for every single thing that goes down, you can imagine that if someone picks a fight with me on the street and all I knew was to bloody his face with punches or kicks, especially me being who I am and you being who you are, you're going to get sued the next day if you brutalize someone and break their face open. With jiu-jitsu, you don't have to do that. You control the situation, neutralize the aggressor, negotiate from inside the fight. Once they've calmed down and the threat has been neutralized, the fight is over. You get up, you shake hands, and you go on with your day. It's very simple. Or you're at a kid's birthday party and Uncle Jim is getting crazy. He's drunk, acting out of control, and you've got to apprehend or control this guy because he's doing stupid things, but you don't want to bloody your uncle at the kid's birthday party. Guess what? Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to the rescue. So not every fight is a life or death, fight to the finish, and most of them aren't. So in those situations, there's no art that's more effective at giving you the ability to calmly restrain the individual, control the situation, and do so in the least violent way possible. And if it is a life or death situation, we got that handled as well. Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is our family's self-defense system that has been used to defeat giants for the last 85 years. Today, we have specialized, amazing programs for men, women, and children. Gracie Bully Proof. Teach kids how to assert themselves verbally against the bullies, and if attacked, how to neutralize the situation without throwing a single punch or kick. Women empowered. 15 techniques to defend against sexual assault based on the most common threat scenarios facing women. And of course, for men and anyone who wants to learn simple, effective self-defense in the least amount of time possible, we have Gracie Combatives, our most effective self-defense program to date. For all of these programs, more information, and to learn how you can learn Gracie Jiu-Jitsu from home, go to gracieuniversity.com. Check it out, a bunch of free lessons, and if you're not 100% satisfied with the quality of the instruction and the amazingness of the techniques, come to Torrance and you can choke me out for free. Much respect, we'll see you in the next one.
Virtues don't come through simply thinking about them. You have to exercise them. And Aristotle's promise is this: if you want a virtue, act as if you already have it, and then it will be yours. Change comes through action. Act first, then become.